How's it going, everybody? It's Shinigami, and I'm here to bring you another great video today. So, in today's topic, it's all about Rachel Zegler and the greater influence that has gone on here in Hollywood today. Unfortunately, we got a little bit too much infiltration, I guess you could say, of the mind from other people that really don't have any say in this, right? So, what am I getting at? The toxicity that is coming from Hollywood and believing that the fans are wrong, and that, let's say, if you actually love something, you should actually not be on that production for it, right? They should get someone that despises that art or that piece instead. It's kind of where Rachel Zegler lies with, right? And if we kind of just take a little bit of time to reflect and look at what's been going on right now, I'll paint you a little bit more of a broad picture and give you a good understanding of why Hollywood, Disney right now is kind of in a free fall. They've kind of been ignoring the sentiment of the populace, right? Unfortunately, they kind of believe they are above us. Well, when you start putting out pieces like this, where experts are warning Rachel Zegler could ruin Disney's budget, or big budget Snow White remake, and predict executives will be having crisis talks in the coming weeks, right? Just to kind of bring this back down. And then you also got the stuff like this, where the bloke has the audacity to talk about was it this one? No, I gotta go back. It's this fucking video right here. Oops. Let me switch audio real quick.
Literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time. Cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film. It's no longer.
Right, so we got that to go off of, and it paints a very easy picture to just hate this woman even more than Brie Larson, right? Now, I know Brie Larson was a bit of a bimbo when it came to interviews and all that stuff, right? What I believe happened, and what's happening with this young lady, if it is happening at all, is she is being told by her PR team or whoever, signed her up, basically, hey, you got these talking points, go off of them. Or if she really does believe in that, she's just indoctrinated at this point, right? We can't do anything for her, unfortunately. Pray for the soul, right? We can't do much for someone that already believes in this kind of crap. Hollywood wants you to believe a certain way, and if you follow through, well, hey, guess what? You became a nice sheep for them. If you don't, you become how Oliver Anthony is, Richmond north of Richmond, and turned down $8 million and said, no, I'd rather, be here in the woods, being to myself, right? So when you think about this and the stuff she is saying, you got to put a little bit more pieces together before you actually understand why she's saying it, right? You also have the late and great what's his name, David Hand, who was the son of the director of Disney's original Snow White. He recently came out, and I will show you what he was talking about. Right here, he points out that the original animated Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, right here, the live action remake is a disgrace. Say it louder for the people in the back, right? And Rachel Zegler's version portrayed is basically stirring up all this crap right now and referring to the original Snow White as extremely outdated compared to the prince behavior, to stalking and all the other crap, right? It's just like the film will have a male lead portrayed by blah blah, but he is not Prince Charming. He is not clear the film will feature a love story or not. And then in response, 91-year-old Hand, who worked for Disney's in the 90s, said she misunderstands the film. He said young people have never seen the original and don't know what they're talking about, right? It's a whole different concept and just totally disagree with it. He said in the live action about the live action remake, and I know my dad and Walt would be very much disagree with it. He added that the original film was done with good taste when it was written, and that he thinks it's a disgrace that is trying to do something new with something that was such a great success earlier. Because if you were to adjust for inflation, Snow White would be one of the most fucking expensive films that made a good ass budget, right? But we don't want to talk about that. You don't want to adjust for inflation. And then many other live action remakes have taken opportunity to correct racist, sexist, and ableist elements in the original animated counterparts and add more diversity. Like, we need that. Ziegler is of Colombian descent, and the Seven Dwarfs are being replaced by a group of magical creatures portrayed by people of different heights, weights, and skin tones, not to mention genders, right? Han has said that the live action remakes, I'm afraid that what they're going to do with the early films, their thoughts are just so radical now. They changed the stories, they changed the thought process of the characters, they just aren't the original stories anymore. They're making up new woke things, and I'm just not into that. I find it, quite frankly, a big insult what they have done to some of these classic films. There's no respect for what Disney and what my dad did. I think Walt and he would be turning in their graves, right? And then you have people like this, when I just take off this fucking ad, where the Mary Sue is saying, hey, actually leave Rachel Zegler alone. To be fair, like I said, maybe it's not Rachel's fault, but at this point she has too much hubris in her to probably admit to that. She needs to either come out when she gets the chance to say, hey, I didn't mean any disrespect, I was given a paycheck, right? I was given a paycheck to do this. I didn't give a fuck if I hated the film or not. That would be the most real response anybody can accept, and people would probably like the film. I'm telling you right now, if you are honest about it, if you tell them from the heart, I don't really give a fuck about Snow White, but I took the check, right? Because it was an opportunity for me to make a little bit more and to try and get myself out there. Maybe I took a little bit of missteps, right, in the promotion. Boom. You got yourself a fix. Will Hollywood listen? No. Will they even think about it? No. What are they gonna do? Call you misogynistic or racist or whatever because she's Mexican, right? I'm fucking Mexican too. I can call her out if I want to, if that's the fucking case, right? Boom. I'm gonna leave you with one last clip and we'll be out with it. But I just want you to know, I hope y'all have a good day, good evening, good night. Hollywood, Disney, they will not learn from this if time has shown us anything. They keep calling us names. You know what? Until they go broke, it doesn't matter, right? It's just beautiful at this point. So, if you all have any other comments and suggestions you want to put down below, I'd be happily to listen. Other than that, I'm going to be Ace Shinigami signing out, and hope you have a good evening, good night, wherever you're at. Happy birthday, and that's going to be it for me. Good night. Bye.
How long was Snow White in production? I actually started to plan the picture around 1935, and I fooled around with it, trying to get a hold of the story and things for a couple of years, and finally it began to gel. Then I went to work on it. I finished it the fall of 1938. I didn't know what I had or what would happen or anything. We had the family fortune. We had everything wrapped up in Snow White. In fact, the banker, I think, was losing more sleep than I was. Fortunately, they when he put it in, premiered it, and everything else, everything was fine. The banker was happy.
And the following spring along came that Academy Award.
Oh, yeah, but, it wasn't but about 2 years later that I was almost broke.
Well, 2 years later was following Pinocchio and coming into the Fantasia period.
Yeah, that about did it, you know.
But that was a new
artistic
one.
success, financial failure.
Certainly an artistic success.
Well, some people would question that too.
Mickey